Greetings, everyone. Hope all of you are having an absolutely fantastic day. A couple of weeks ago, some screenshots were released for the Gothic remake, and it shows some female character models that were very different from the models used in the original Gothic game. This story has blown up on Twitter, on Reddit, on pretty much any avenue fans can use to communicate with the devs to make it clear that they're upset, they're not going to wishlist the game, they won't buy the game, and they're telling everybody who would listen not to do the same because supposedly the dev is sold out to corporate ownership, they've gone woke, blah, 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 etc., etc. I waited, and actually I was not going to cover this, but again, it has continued to go on to the point this even came up in my stream last night, and I've been watching the developments, waiting for this to die down. There's no sign it's going to die down anytime soon. In fact, the devs directly responded to this situation, and I'll show that to you in just a minute. But first, let me just say something. Part of the reason I didn't cover this previously is because I am fully aware I am a visitor when it comes to Gothic. There are other gaming communities where I'm like, hey, I own this space. I own the BioWare space. I own the Outcat space. I own the Obsidian space. And to be honest with you, I feel like I own the Warhorse space. Like I've done a lot of content on those games. So when drama comes up in those particular situations, I feel very, very comfortable covering it. But when it comes to Gothic, I understand that, hey, I've never played the original games and I've only done 1 or 2 videos on this remake, so I don't have a whole lot of cachet in that space. And so I'm very, very careful about just coming in when there's drama or some sort of issue going on. But again, this has kind of gotten to the point that it's being seen and it's clear to a bunch of people who are not actually a part of that community. And so I feel comfortable going ahead and covering it. Now, before I get deeper into my own personal thoughts regarding this, let me go ahead and give you some more context regarding what is happening. So in the Gothic game, there's this tyrant lord named Gomez, and he controls the mining of magic ore. Now, there's a king of the whole land where the Gothic game is based, and he's in desperate need of this ore because he needs to make more magic weapons to fuel his ongoing war against the orcs. And so he's basically negotiated a deal with Gomez where Gomez will send him a bunch of this magic ore, and in return, the king will send him female slaves that he can essentially use however he wants. Now, in the original game, these women had, for the most part, large chests, and they were basically half naked. It was very, very clear that they were present for sexual purposes, right? Whereas in the updated version of the game, they're much more buttoned up. There are many people who are claiming that the women look mannish, and it doesn't make sense that someone of wealth and power and authority would choose them to have these sort of relationships with. And so basically people are like, this is censorship. You are covering up these women and trying to make them into a different role in order to appease corporate overlords who are trying to appease DEI standards, blah, 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 et cetera, right? That's basically the gist of this issue. Now, back on the 23rd, the devs did directly respond to this issue, and they said, we wish to make something very clear. We are right now being accused of pushing a political or social agenda on our game. We wish to assure you that we don't have any agenda of any kind. Anyone claiming otherwise is just purely wrong, as proven by our extensive catalog of over 150 published games on Steam alone. We are focused on making the best possible Gothic game, and everything we do has a reason in the game that will be made clear once you play. But there won't be any form of censorship or effeminacy. Some characters have different roles, but the main theme and plot remains the same. I find this issue confusing for a couple of reasons, because first and foremost, let me stay straight up. I do believe that as the issue stands right now, it certainly looks like censorship. Now, the dev is saying that when you actually play the game, it's going to be much more understandable what's going on. There are some people who basically believe that in the updated version of the game, the women are not going to be sex slaves. Essentially, they're going to be there for another role and purpose. I can guarantee you, the people who are pissed off now will still be pissed off if they find out them women ain't sex slaves the way they're supposed to be. All right. So I don't think that really makes it better. So regardless, this is basically going to be viewed as a form of censorship, where these women essentially had one role to begin with, and now in this updated version of the game, there's something completely different, much more respectable, and they dress in a much more respectable manner, and you've completely changed the tone of that dynamic, theoretically to appease certain groups, right? I get that. And I can certainly get why some people who want to maintain the dark, grim spirit of the original Gothic game, which by all accounts looks like it's still going to be extremely dreadful for all the men in the game, but the women somehow are getting a better card dealt. I get all that. But I got two issues with this controversy that makes me really, really confused about why people are making such a big deal out of this. First of all, my understanding, never having played the games, is that you almost never talk to these women and they have no quest involved with them, right? Like, you can try to talk to them in the original game, but they will tell you, you're not supposed to talk to me. You're not allowed to talk to Gomez's slaves. There are no quests involving them. There's no content involving them. They're basically window dressing while you walk around Gomez's palace or on your way to talk with him. And so therefore, getting all bent out of shape about how the window dressing looks is weird to me. It's super, super weird, super odd. But let's put that to the side, right? Let's just say, hey, I know some of y'all Lagunas. It's okay, you know, and to each his own. There's an even bigger issue here that I feel like is not being properly dealt with. Last year, Piranha Bytes, who was the original developer of Gothic, went under. There's really no other developer trying to make games the way Piranha Bytes did. The closest you can maybe say is Ash and Steel, which just came out, but by all accounts, the reviews for that have been pretty terrible. And even people who like it a little bit more say it's an extremely buggy experience that does not feel complete. If it does turn out to be a cult classic and a well-liked game, at the very least, we're months away from that occurring, right? So as things stand right now, there's no other developer who is trying on a quality level to really deliver the Piranha Bytes experience. And this dev has decided to put in a ton of money and resources and credibility and cachet in providing the Gothic community with a remake of the original game and presumably remakes of Gothic 2 and maybe even significantly improving upon Gothic 3, which seems to be almost universally disliked. You would think that is something very, very exciting that the community would want to protect. Like, Paul, I find the situation so odd because I don't see that happening at all. I don't see where the community is stepping in and saying, y'all need to chill out. Because let me be clear, this feedback that the devs are receiving, it's not the, hey, we think this is wrong, y'all should change type of feedback. It's the, no, y'all done messed up. We're going to shut this whole thing down. We want this game to fail, and we want you to fail with the feedback, right? Which is, to me, wild. That's really, really crazy. I don't understand why the people, this community has existed for quite some time. Why aren't long-standing members of the community speaking up and saying, hey, can we bring this down some? Y'all are getting out of pocket and wilding out for no reason. If you want to see a video about this controversy for someone who is, you know, more involved with the community and actually follows the stuff a lot more, Click for Gameplay is the content creator that I usually go to when I want to know more about Piranha Bytes type stuff, right? And he has a video on this that he put out, I think about a week ago, something like that. And he says that, hey, I feel like this controversy is dumb. But he also says basically he feels like Dev screwed up. They need to fix this. They need to take the original outfits and put them on there. And I believe he also said they should consider making the outfits even more revealing and more sexier than what the original outfits were, to make it completely clear to everybody that they're not beholden to corporate overlords. And I'm like, again, I don't disagree that as it stands now, it comes off as censorship. Where is the message that, yo, y'all are wild and y'all need to chill out? This doesn't make sense. You're going to destroy one of the few opportunities we could potentially have to get more games of this type. Because let's say it doesn't get changed and the women just stay that way. If the combat is amazing, if the dialogue is amazing, if all of those different guilds and all those other aspects of Gothic that supposedly made it such an incredible game are still there, but the women aren't half naked, the 3 or 4 women that are the only women in the entire game, if they're not half naked sex slaves, does that really destroy everything? Is it, hey, throw the baby out with the bathwater if this isn't right? That's crazy to me. That doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. If I don't understand, if this is a situation where, hey, you would get it if you played the game and you just don't get it because you haven't played Gothic, let me know down in the comments. But from the outside looking in, it's wild to me that more people are not stepping up and saying, this is crazy. This is nonsense. Y'all need to chill. Yes, we should let them know that this makes us hesitant. This makes us look at you in a certain way, but it's not, we won't buy it. We won't wish list it. We hope this game fails. What? Wow. Wow. Anyway, those are my thoughts. I'm definitely looking forward to hearing you all's thoughts on the situation, especially those of you who are big fans of Gothic and maybe have already been following this. If I'm out of pocket, if there's something I'm not realizing, definitely let me know. But again, outside looking in, it looks extremely ungrateful to me. Like, if somebody swooped in and said they were going to do a remake of Dragon Age Origins, but hey, Morgan's chest ain't going to be as big as it was in the original game, I'd be like, yo, give me my remake. Give me my remake. So weird. Anyway, hope all of you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.